Are you looking for a
And I got my plan. I say lob it to Ryan Perez in the paint off a couple of screens.
Esquivel to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria.
There's Warner. Here comes a headed jam. Counted for two. Field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved.
What a game. Smack to the left. That is gone.
Lob for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Counting and a win. And a win. Ryan Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go nuts. And why not?
Live once again here from Fruia Motors. I'm Jacob Young. This is Real Sports Live Network here once again from Fruia Motors, Buick GMC, and Cadillac. Of course, if you're in the market for a new car, check out Fruia, Buick GMC, and Cadillac for all your car needs. A lot to, of course, talk about. We always like to start off the show with talking about what is going on with Real Sports Live Network. What is our next events to cover this weekend, and of course none other than talking about what's coming up very soon and what could potentially be next week, but as well as what we're covering RGV soccer in the 31 and 32 5A. That's going to be big to cover, talk about for both boys and girls, and the reason is, well, we can do a whole show on that exactly, just on those two districts alone, where they do meet up in by district for both boys and girls, and that'll be very interesting to talk about because of how big of the match will, or how big of the matches coming up will be. We'll discuss the results that were, of course, last night. What results were Monday. That's the biggest thing to talk about because, well, again, there was just a lot to cover from the sports weekend. Then and of course last night on Tuesday, and then of course when we have time, or if we have time, which we should, talk about your March Madness teams that are on the bubble, teams that are just making it through the last buys through, and then of course the teams that are still on the outside looking in that have a good chance of making it. Besides, we're skipping at the moment from the mid-majors because that will all be decided in about a couple weeks' time when we have the rest of the 68 teams that will really make it. That, of course, will be your Ivy League, your Patriot League, I should say, your American Athletic Conference. Check that. No. Point is, the teams that don't really have any chance of getting at-large bids, they just make it by winning their conference, like the Southland, like the HBCs, the HBC conferences, all of those mid-majors will have, and we won't necessarily break down, but we'll just tell you all what is coming up very soon for that. But like we mentioned, we start off with talking about what is going on with Rio Sports stuff we will have here very soon. One of the biggest things that is coming up is the BISD, I believe, one of the BISD tournaments. I believe that is for baseball. It's this weekend, of course, as expected. Then we also, of course, will have probably, if I had to guess, a couple of soccer matches or softball on Friday evening, as well as the final day of play on Saturday, which will be very exciting to talk about. Of course, there were big games last night right there. We weren't able to cover any of them, unfortunately, that mattered. So, of course, looking to try and improve that. Coverage is coming up very soon. Of course, if you're looking to want to join Rio Sports Live Network, this is that's a place to do it. We're looking for announcers. We're looking for camera ops, especially in the Upper Valley and mid to lower valley would really help us out in general. So that's, of course, one thing that's kind of moving on. So now we'll go to, well, District 31 5A. Boys soccer. We'll talk a little bit about that really quickly. It's very exciting to talk about because starting things off last night, McAllen Memorial ended up playing against Pioneer High School at Pioneer High School. And Pioneer High School, again, this side, they are a legit side. They are a second place team, in my opinion, by far. Of course, but this is boys soccer, so we're actually starting off with boys soccer. My point is, still, even then, that team is not terrible. They got beaten a couple of times where they should have won. They should have beaten McAllen High School again earlier this season. They should have beaten their rivals at Richard Thompson Stadium, Sherryland High School. So there were chances of all that. Anyways. Of course, we had some games that were canceled that were moved over. $11 matches for Sherryland High School. They lead, I don't believe that this might not be updated, as games were on Monday and games were on Tuesday. So take that back. Yes, the matches have actually been updated. This is correct. It is 30 points for the leader, Sherryland High School. 10 wins, 1 loss in the season. They lost once in regulation. That was to Mackay earlier this season. Then Sherryland Pioneer now finds themselves in second position with 25 points. And Mackay, of course, dropped to third place. They are 1 match back of Pioneer, 2 matches back at least. Check that, technically 2.5 matches back of Sherryland High School for Mackay to the district champs of Sherryland High School, or the district leaders, I should say. Why? Because, well, 22, they sit at 22. Mackay, Sherryland sits at 30. This is the biggest thing. 3 points for a win in regulation. You get 2 of those, that's 6 points. They are down by more than 6. They are down by 8. So therefore, they would have to win 3 straight, and hopefully Sherryland would drop those points as well as Sherryland Pioneer. So it's a lot of just being behind at the moment for Mackay after being in the lead for almost the whole entire first half of district. Talking to the Sherryland players when they played, they knew what they had to do in the second half, and so far are doing exactly what they've needed to do. From, of course, the game matches that were canceled Friday that were ended up playing on Monday. McAllen Memorial drew with PSJ Southwest and lost the other point. Only gained 1 point from that match, losing in PK shootouts to PSJ Southwest. Mackay lost 4-3 against Nicky Road. That is what made Mackay drop indefinitely to that 3rd spot. As for Sherryland Pioneer, easy 6-0 victory over PSJ Memorial, and Edinburgh Villa had a bye. Check that was not actually the correct matches. PSJ Memorial won 5-0 against Edinburgh Villa. Nicky Rowe won 4-3 over Mackay. That's what ended up making them lose and dropping a match. Sherryland Pioneer easily wins 5-0 against PSJ North, and Sherryland High School had a bye anyways that week. And for a while, Sherryland High School, they were thinking they were going to play a team in that bye, and then that ended up not going forward, and so it completely changed. Anyways, moving on to last night's matches. PSG Southwest won 3-1 against Mac High. Edinburgh Vella lost to PSG North 7-2. Sherryland High School just eke out a victory 3-2 over Nicky Rowe. And McAllen Memorial win 1-0 over Sherryland Pioneer. A very important win right there, again, on the boys' side, because McAllen Memorial were able to at least get 3 key points there, 4 points in total from the back-to-back matches that they played. It could have been potentially 6. So that was very important. They are still on the outside looking in with 20 points out of 21. You think about it, they missed that opportunity to gain that extra point against the side of PSG Southwest, at least, if not 2, where they could have overtaken Nicky Rowe for that 4th spot. Right now, that's still really where that competition is just trying to make it in that spot. But to be fair, Mac High, if they were to drop their match this Friday, playing against Sherryland Pioneer are able to beat Mac High at Veterans Memorial Stadium. This is a big thing. McAllen Memorial play Edinburgh Vella. It's almost a guaranteed victory for that side. McAllen Memorial getting 3 points. Then you, of course, look at Nicky Rowe. They have a bye, so they will be kind of that, not flatline, but they won't really have an effect in this conversation at the moment. Mac High lose in regulation to Pioneer. Pioneer, they get their 3 points. All of a sudden, at 28 points, Sherryland High School most likely will get a victory. We'll wait and see. They play PSG Southwest. It's going to be a bit of a difficult match, but they can get those 3 points. They get 3 points, 33-28. Okay, first and second place kind of set in stone for the time being. But then you get into that third place. Mac High lose. They stay at 22. Nicky Rowe and McAllen Memorial win. 23 points for McAllen Memorial, and then 24 points for Nicky Rowe. Nicky Rowe would move to third. McAllen Memorial would move to fourth, most likely. And all of a sudden, you're looking at Mac High on the outside looking into playoffs. That's how tight this whole entire side is at the moment on the boys soccer side. Very exciting in 31-5A. We'll quickly move to 32-5A boys soccer, as we're just talking about the boys soccer sides. Again, for by districts, both 31 and 32-5A, they will play against each other in the playoffs from 1 seed versus 4, 2 seed versus 3, and, well, that would be the matches in the by district round of things just in this district alone. Moving on. What are we looking at in this District 32-5A boys soccer, which was updated on the 26th, which is today, so we are getting everything today. This is the craziest part. Brownsville Lopez, 14 matches played, 12 wins, no losses, 1 PK victory, 1 PK loss. Their goal differential is 57. This is Brownsville Lopez we're talking about with 39 points. They have a bit of a gap, a 4-point lead over Harlingen South, who have played 14 matches, have won 11, lost twice, and have had 1 PK victory. That's important to, of course, note because, well, they could be at 36 right now and only being 3 points off. That's a common thing that we notice. A common thing that you see a lot in the point standings is those PK victories or PK losses where they end up dropping at least at 1 point to end up having 4-point gap between them and, well, first place, or even if they're, let's say, in 5th, to that 4th place, that playoff spot to be exact. But let's look at the rest of the playoff spots. How close is it between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? Well, it's not as close as you would anticipate. 2nd and 3rd, that's where it is. 35 points to Harlingen South and 32 points to Brownsville Porter. Both have played 14 matches, of course, 11 wins, 2 losses, 1 shootout victory, or 1 PK victory. I should say, for Harlingen South. We were talking about them. Brownsville Porter, they've had 2 PK victories, 1 PK loss, and so again, that's really where it comes down to 32 points instead of their opportunity to at least get to 33 or, well, to 33 points, because they have had 1 PK loss. That's where their losses have come from, because only having 9 wins, of course, their 2 losses were key losses, of course. Let's look at how the matches went for the last 2 days, from Monday and Tuesday, with the makeup match being on Monday and the Tuesday match being their regular Tuesday district matchup. That was on the 25th. So, of course, Friday, those games were made up on Monday. Ed Couch also won 6-2 over Wesco East. Brownsville Lopez 8, Brownsville Pace 0. Brownsville Rivera 4, Donna High 0. Harlingen South 8, Mercedes 0. Brownsville Porter 4, Donna North 1. Those were your makeup games from Friday, February 21st, when the temperatures dropped, and with really disgusting weather of just rain and very outside chance of possible mixed conditions. Matches were canceled as temperatures dropped to the 30s in the evenings. Moving on, it's kind of the way that things affected everything else. Brownsville Porter get a key victory. Brownsville Lopez, of course, scoring 8 goals against Brownsville Pace. They win easily. That was at Brownsville Pace. Now, Brownsville Lopez. So we don't have a score for Mercedes and Donna North. That doesn't really affect anything. Donna North actually, it kind of does affect something, as they were in 4th. Check that, 5th. So it kind of does affect them whether or not they get 3 points or not, to be down by 2 against Brownsville Rivera. That is kind of your difference at the moment. But then you go down, of course, you have that Tuesday, then our Tuesday matches. Harlingen South drew against Wesco East in regulation. Both teams escaped there with 1 point. Who's going to win that second point up for grabs in the PK shootout? That was Harlingen South. Harlingen South get a second point. And again, that's where we got them missing an extra point right there to make it 36 in a key match. Mercedes scored 0 against Brownsville Porter's 3. That's the wrong match again. So take that back. We go back down to actually Tuesday. Brownsville Lopez won 5-0 against Wesco East. Brownsville Porter win in a PK shootout over Brownsville Rivera. Harlingen South won 3-1 over Ed Couch Elsa. Donna High School win 5 goals to 2 was your final. Again, that's how everything affects it all. We're still interested in, of course, Donna North, because that was actually an important match. We don't know if Donna North beat Mercedes High School in that one. So that's your realm of things on the boys' side. Very exciting stuff there for 32-5A. I'm going to take a quick breather. When we return, we will talk about both the 31-5A girls side of the district and the 32-5A girls side of the district. We'll be right back after this. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network here at Luke Fruia Motors, Buick GMC and Cadillac.
How about Starny's hot dogs and more? These dogs are delicious, and they're made the way you want to order. A new place on South Padre, Starny's hot dogs and more. Stop by today.
Sunny Glen Children's Home has provided a place of hope for every child since 1936. If you'd like more information on Sunny Glen and the services we offer, please visit us at www.sunnyglen.org.
South Padre Island. Enjoy endless activities for all ages. Then dance the night away with live music, savor fresh seafood, and discover unique food trucks and shop our charming boutiques. What are you waiting for? Escape the everyday at South Padre Island.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
When you study local at Texas Southmost College, you can choose from over 50 associate degree programs, certificates, and workforce training programs, all at the most affordable cost in the Rio Grande Valley. Transfer your TSC credits to a university or start a new career, like Kat Gomez, who graduated from TSC and is now patrolling the streets of Brownsville and serving her community. Register now at tsc.edu/register and study local at Texas Southmost College.
Time to take a new look, maybe your first look at Buick. If smart, hip, and affordable's for you, Buick's your brand. Fruia Buick, Brownsville, Texas.
Back live we go here from Luke Fruia, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. It's been a very fun show so far. I always love to cover this and do this show as well. Again, I'm Jacob Young. This is Real Sports Live Network. I've been doing this for over a year, this show, to be exact, as Joe Bowling was kind enough to allow me to have this opportunity. And especially around this time of year, it's always my favorite time of year for sports in high school. Excuse me. And it's weird. People would say, well, why? Because you live in Texas. The best time of year is always going to be the fall. Okay, yeah, that's fun, but my passion still is soccer. My passion is still soccer. I grew up with it. I grew up with college football. I grew up with going to soccer games for my sister, going to college soccer matches at Ellis Field at Texas A&M University. Why do I bring this up? Well, because this is it. And, when I watched soccer as a young child, when I was 7 years old, I'd watch the Gold Cup. I'd root for the United States men's national team. I got to, witness the Women's World Cup when the women almost beat Japan and they won the gold medal in 2012. And then all of a sudden, it was that effect where the U.S. women's national team soccer ended up winning 2 straight World Cups. Could not get a third one. We don't talk about that and all that. My point is, it's led me to be able to really, really investly talk about even high school soccer so well, so in-depthly. Being able to cover TSC soccer when I did, that was phenomenal. But enough about my rant. We're here to talk and to inform you all about this. Go into it. 31-5A girls soccer now. We'll talk about 32-5A girls soccer if it is updated as well, because that is very important. Again, we'll get to see both sides play against each other. My, not advice, but my expectation is that 31-5A will once again sweep 32-5A in girls soccer. Yes, it's all 4 teams, check that, are still that strong. And I'm not shocked about any of that. Now we get to see, again, a couple of scores. I was not able to cover any match last night, unfortunately. So we start things off with, of course, the Monday Monday, I was at Marine Military Academy. Congratulations to Marine Military Academy. Before I forget, they got a big victory, 7 goals to 2. It was a crazy match on that Monday. They were up 3 goals to 0. They give one up before halftime, 3 goals to 1. And then medical profession score 1 goal to make it 3 goals to 2. And then Marine Military Academy never looked back with a Alexis Duffy hat trick, as well as every other player really helping this team out. Amazing. Amazing job from that side. They really needed that victory. The interview with Alexis Duffy was great. My questioning might not have been the best, but again, his answers, he gave proper answers like an interview, and that was really special. Anyways, moving on. Talking about this once again, Friday matches that were done on Monday because of weather. We had Sharyland Pioneer get a very important victory, 3 goals to 1. They win over PSJ Memorial, 3 goals to 0 actually. Then Nicky Rowe loses against McAllen Memorial, 4 goals to 0. And Mac High win over Sharyland High School, just 1 goal to 0 at Richard Thompson Stadium. That was that match. PSJ North, PSJ Southwest draw 1-1. PSJ Southwest gets the extra point. Edinburgh Vela with the bye, just like on the boys' side. So we go into how that affected the standings. We'll go to how both of these matches affected the standings coming up. PSJ North end up losing to Sharyland Pioneer, 3 goals to 1. That was actually okay. So this is not the right. These were the games that I actually wanted to get to. Sharyland Pioneer wins 3 goals to 1 over PSJ North. Big win. McAllen Memorial 5 goals to 0 over PSJ Southwest. An important victory for them. Edinburgh Vela win 8 goals to 0 over PSJ Memorial. Very important win for themselves. Mac High just win 5 goals to 3. They give up 3 goals against a very difficult Nicky Rowe team that will not go away because they still want to make the playoffs, and they have an outside chance of doing exactly that as well. That cut them closer. Again, going on to Tuesday's matches last night, we had Pioneer taking on McAllen Memorial. 3 goals to 2 was that score, and that was phenomenal. For McAllen Memorial beating Sharyland Pioneer, that was very key. And why do I say that was a very key victory for themselves? Well, because of the fight for district. The fight for even second place is heating up a good amount. And so McAllen Memorial being able to beat Sharyland Pioneer was key because they get to extend their lead over the district rivals. As for McAllen Memorial, or as for Edinburgh Vela, check that. They played against PSJ Memorial and won 5 goals to 0. Mac High wins 5 goals to 3 over Nicky Rowe. They gave up 2 goals but ended up winning that match. Again, that was the wrong one. Mac High won 5-0 against PSJ Southwest. How does that shake up this table? Well, it shakes up this table like this. McAllen Memorial lead with 36 points in district. Mac High now overtake Sharyland Pioneer as expected with 27 points. McAllen Memorial lead by 9 points in district. Sherry Pioneer with 25 points. Second place still for grabs. These two sides, they're not done with each other just yet. Because, and I kid you not, this Friday, Sharyland Pioneer play Mac High. That is just about legitimately for second place in district. If Pioneer win, they have to win out in order to claim that second place. If Mac High win, Mac High have to win out in order to claim the second place and hope that some things luckily happen against McAllen Memorial when McAllen Memorial faces Edinburgh Vela and when McAllen Memorial faces off against even a couple of PSJ schools. Why is that such a big deal? Well, as we read off the rest of the teams, Sharyland Pioneer with 25, Edinburgh Vela with 21 points, and Nicky Rowe tied with 21 points. The only difference has been goal differential, and I'm sure head-to-head as well. That is key, both with 21 points. And unfortunately for Sharyland High School, it looks like they are about to be mathematically eliminated from making the playoffs with 11 points, and they need to catch up to Nicky Rowe and Edinburgh Villa by, well, winning out. I believe they still have maybe an outside chance of getting there, but I believe the most points that they can get is 24, and so it will take one more match for them to officially be mathematically eliminated. If things don't necessarily go their way, they'd have to have Nicky Rowe and Edinburgh Villa both lose against they have to both lose for the rest of the season, and Sharyland High School have to win. If they drop another point, it's over. Anyway, moving on. Like I mentioned, for all this, here are some scenarios officially. Mackay, I did the math a couple of days ago, but this is very true. With officially, a couple of games still remaining, remember each team has to take a bye. So for Sharyland Pioneer, they have a bye. But for Mackay, have already taken their bye week. So for Mackay,
like 50 pounds each. There you go.
Chris Cisneros, dial 3507.
369,
Dial 3507.
12.
I'm watching you.
So before they play McAllen Memorial, they have a chance to get 12 points. This is why this is important. We talked about it. They are down by 9. But with those 12 points, you would expect McAllen Memorial with that bye to get close to the same. Their schedule starts off this Friday. They play Edinburgh Villa. That's their toughest team remaining before Mackay. That is the honest truth. Why do I say that? Well, because we still expect McAllen Memorial to win this Friday at home at Boxer and Honda Stadium against Edinburgh Villa. That's 3 points right there. An expected win, let me be clear. Not a guaranteed, but an expected one. They play against PSG and Memorial. PSG and Memorial have not been doing that well this season, and McAllen Memorial scoring about 5 goals against teams in that scenario. They expect a win there. Again, that's 6. Just right there. And then McAllen Memorial with PSG North. That's who they have on their schedule before they take their bye. So 3. So McAllen Memorial is expected to at least get 9 points before their bye week. If they were to do that, if they were to get the 9 points, McAllen Memorial is looking at being district champions with 1 game to spare for themselves, with Mackay still having 2 matches left. Not even just getting a share of district, being able to clinch fully with the points. That is if McAllen Memorial get those 9 points as expected before their bye. Even if Mackay were to win out, that is a situation that we are looking at, where they are mathematically eliminated before they face each other. Which is wild to think. I've been covering this, 31-5A, 31-6A at that time when it was, forever. And McAllen Memorial's never been able to be this dominant in their district. And for the first time last year, they were able to win district outright by beating McAllen High School. And I remember where they beat McAllen High School outright twice. And, getting to talk to Coach Kaiser back at the end of round 1 of district play, it was spectacular when I got to talk about it. and talked to him about it because I said, well, three straight wins against Mackay, and he's like, yeah, you can't take those for granted. And he told me, he said, that team is going to be super strong next year. A lot of young players. So look for Mackay to be back next year, and probably for McCall Memorial Mackay to share the series 1-1, and for that district to even be more dangerous. McCall Memorial is still going to be more dangerous next year too. These are the times where we can expect both of these two schools still to, not possibly, but to definitely make it to regional semifinals. Very, very, very exciting. I can't wait for all that fun stuff. That's where we stand on this district. Again, I've covered it basically all my life, and that's why it's so interesting and intriguing to always just share with you all where both those sides of the district are. As for 32-5A girls soccer standings, where do we look at right now? Round 2 all the way down to the 2 matches that, of course, were played from Monday and Tuesday. Monday's games from Friday, February 21st. Brownsville-Lopez wins 4-0 over Brownsville-Pace. 1-1, Brownsville-Rivera over Donna High School. Brownsville-Rivera win in a PK shootout, so both teams shared a point, but Brownsville-Rivera get the extra point that they've most definitely needed. Ed Couch also wins 6-1 over Wesco East. Harlingen South win 3-0 over Mercedes, and Donna North win 2-0 over Brownsville Porter. Donna North on Tuesday's match wins 4-0 over Mercedes. Brownsville Rivera win 5-0 over Brownsville Porter. Brownsville Lopez win 4-0 over Wesco East. Donna High School win 6-3 over Brownsville Pace. And Harlingen South win 5-1 over Ed Couch Elsa. So there's actually 10 teams in this district to be exact. So there's not 9 teams in this district like I anticipated or thought. I just always forget about that one side. So Harlingen South with set at the top of the table with 41 points. It's almost a guarantee that they will win district at the moment. They control their own destiny by they just can't drop any matches, and they'll probably win district here coming up just due to the fact of 41 points. Almost a 10-point advantage over second place Brownsville Lopez at 33. 31 points will be none other than at Couch Elsa in third place, and Donna North in fourth place with 29 points. So very exciting there. But that's your top 4 is at Couch Elsa's in third with 31 points. So they're 2 off of Brownsville Lopez. And Donna North in fourth with 29 points. They want a little bit more of a cushion over Brownsville Rivera. Brownsville Rivera are only 1 game back at the moment in that district as well. It couldn't be any tighter for sure because Donna North, well, they're 2 games back of 5th place with 20 points, and that's where things get interesting because, well, Donna North, or check that, Donna High School don't want to be eliminated out of contention just yet, but it is getting closer and closer to where that might be the case very soon. So just teams like that, they'll have to be careful, and very exciting coming up here very, very soon. Well, we'll take a break. When we return, we will switch and go into covering, well, a fun thing that's about to happen in a couple of weeks. That is March Madness. Jacob Young, the Real Sports Live Network here at Luke Fruia, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new car, check out Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Truck Techs in Harlingen is your source for lifts, wheels, and tires. Talking trucks of any size, any model, and any year. Specializing in accessories with top-of-the-line products to bring that special look to your truck in a professional way. Lifts, wheels, and tires, with financing available too. Call today or stop by Truck Techs in Harlingen.
My son Leo just graduated from high school, but also with his associate degree from Texas Southmost College at no cost at all. Not having that financial burden was so helpful to our family. That's 2 years we did not have to pay for.
All of my TSC credits transferred to UTRGV, and I am so grateful to go into my major debt-free.
At Marine Military Academy, we educate those who dare to achieve. Those eager to control their future before it controls them. Those who can follow a path so they can eventually make their own. Those ready to join in order to stand out. Welcome to MMA, forging tomorrow's leaders.
South Padre Island. Enjoy endless activity.
Back we go once again to hear from Luke Fruia, Buick GMC, and Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new car, check out Luke Fruia, Buick GMC, and Cadillac here in beautiful Brownsville, Texas. It is 2:41 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Brownsville, Texas. Like I said before, on a beautiful Wednesday, 2025, February 26, 2025 to be exact. And this is a very exciting time of year. Once again, like I said, it gets very close to this. It brings me a lot of joy because I always love to cover this, and I love college basketball so much. And of course, yes, that means that I like to make sure that I know where UTRGV are on that side of things. Of course, no matter what, they have to win their conference in order to make it to the dance, but this is where things get very interesting for the big Power 4 to Power 5 conferences. So right now, this is according to Joe Lunardi for the bracketology. These are the teams that are looking to make it from the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Big East, which are very exciting. And a lot of these teams have games tonight too, so just take this with a little lightly because, well, most of these teams, they need to win. 7 p.m. on the SEC Network, the Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. Vandy can all but clinch an NCAA bid with a road victory. Well, yes, that's very true because Texas A&M have been on a 2-game losing streak. They lost on the road very badly to none other than Mississippi State in Starkville, Mississippi, unfortunately for themselves. And so then they lost at home to Tennessee and dropped all the way down in the AP rankings and the coaches poll to 12th and 11th. Now, a lot of those games, those are tonight, but right now, Auburn sit at the... This is wild, by the way. Auburn still sit at the number 1, the best team in all of college basketball at the moment, with getting the outright number 1 seed. The 4th number 1 seed would be in the West. That would be the Houston Cougars. And then the East, that would be the Duke Blue Devils. Alabama will be in the Midwest as the 3rd best team in the nation, with being the 3rd 1 seed at the moment. And somehow, some way, Texas A&M has survived as the 2 seed still, as it stands. And Florida with the 6th best team. So, just to clarify, Texas A&M, a must-win tonight. Texas A&M Wouldn't say a must-win Saturday, but they need to keep the game close against Florida, another 2 seed. That's the 6th best team in the nation, or the 6th best rated team by the committee. 5th best, that's Tennessee. And then 7th best is Michigan State. Those are all your expected 2 seeds at the moment, according to Joe Lunardi. Again, this is just one guy, but a lot of them have the same have a lot of the same, and it kind of averages out to what you really see here. And this is more of the average than you normally get somewhere else, by far, in my opinion. Now, for the number 3 seeds right now, you're looking at Iowa State, Wisconsin, Texas Tech, and Kentucky for your 3 seeds. Then your 4 seeds right now are looking at Purdue, St. John's, Michigan, and Arizona. That is very key for those 4 seeds. So for those top 4 seeds, I should say, for each team that would get it. Those are, each side has 1 through 4, 1 through 4, 1 through 4 for your top seeds, and the rest of them go all the way down to about 16 seeds. And that's no joke. Of course, like I said, we don't know a lot of those teams coming up for the playing games and all of that. It won't matter too much, but as we've seen before, sometimes it does matter where a 4 seed plays a 13 seed, and somehow, some way, they end up getting upset in the first round. Virginia are the answer to that question if you were thinking you didn't know who ended up getting upset last year. That was Virginia, 13v4. Anyways, moving on. Right now, you're looking at your last 4 byes being Vanderbilt, San Diego State, Oklahoma, and Nebraska. Your last 4 in have moved. Texas were a last 4 bye for a long time, with winning key games, and then they lost against South Carolina this past weekend. This is the difference at the moment for them potentially missing the tournament. Losing to defeated South Carolina. What do I mean by that? South Carolina had not won a conference match had not won a conference game this season. And there we go. Texas are the top of the last 4 in. Nebraska move into the last 4 bye. That was your switch. Arkansas, Ohio State, and Wake Forest are the next 3 in the last 4 in. Now for your first 4 out at the moment, that's North Carolina, Indiana, Georgia, SMU. Next would probably be Vanderbilt or Villanova, Northwestern, and San Francisco and Santa Clara. Next 4 out as well, Xavier, Boise State, Cincinnati, and George Mason. Again, at the moment, they just get into the next 4 out. So George Mason are starting to gain steam. Will they have enough steam to potentially make it or win their conference? That can always happen, and that's always fun. George Mason look like they could be that good of a mid-major team. So, anyways, right now we're looking at multi-bid conferences being the SEC at 13, the Big 10 at 10, the Big 12 at 8, the ACC at 4, the Big East at 4 at the moment. Mountain West at 3, and the West Coast Conference at 2. Those 2 being St. Mary's College and being still Gonzaga. Gonzaga are still going to be around an 8 seed at the moment, and they are looking good. Well, why does Gonzaga make it every single year? Well, because they have enough prestige to be playing in the Maui tournament, to be playing in these invitational tournaments, non-conference games. They play against UConn sometimes. They play against in these big environments where that only helps their net. That only helps their net rating to be able to put themselves in a spot where they're going to make it every single year, and that's absolutely brilliant in my eyes. Now, I've never liked Gonzaga. I think that they've always gotten lucky in somehow, some way. They've gotten a 1 seed every single year, and they've never done anything really with it. They did make it to the championship 1 year and lost in Arizona, in Tempe, Arizona, to be exact. I believe that's where the Arizona Cardinals play. But either way, at State Farm Stadium, they ended up losing to North Carolina. The North Carolina Tar Heels made it back-to-back years, and they finally won it that second year after being beaten on a buzzer beater by Villanova. unbelievable times in the Final Four. Remember, the Final Four this year is in San Antonio, Texas. We could be looking at a couple of teams from Texas make it to the Final Four. We don't know yet, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the Houston Cougars potentially make it there. I don't know. I don't know what their road is going to look like. That is always a fun part once you see what the road is. Then you can start to predict who's probably going to win the whole thing. Just remember this. If you do end up filling out a bracket, remember, you have a 0% chance of making it perfect. Not even a chance, one bit. Do not think that there will ever be a perfect bracket in your lifetime. It will come close, but there will be at least 3 wrong. 68 teams to get everything right. You're gonna miss some. That's just my disclaimer for March Madness if you fill out a bracket. Anyways, again, moving on. That's what we are expected to see at the moment. Remember, there are games on tonight. SEC Network, 7 p.m., Vanderbilt, Texas A&M. Big Ten Network, Penn State, Indiana. SEC Network, Kentucky, and that's at 9 p.m., Kentucky and Oklahoma. These are all Eastern times, by the way. Texas at Arkansas. Loser will be hanging by a thread by the end of the night. That is very true. I expect Arkansas to come out of there with a victory, as they are the home side, and Texas, sometimes they're strong, sometimes they're not. They're very inconsistent. I don't necessarily like an inconsistent team to make it, but then again, that's the same way that Arkansas are. So, again, it can go either way. It really can go either way for that game. I would expect to give the edge to Arkansas because the Razorbacks have just been that better of a side, in my eyes. Virginia at Wake Forest. That is on ESPNU at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 Eastern Time. Ohio State, USC. FS1 at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Utah State, Boise State, and 11 p.m. ESPNU, SMU, California. A big night of basketball. Very exciting stuff. But again, all of the things, the conference breakdowns to be exact, these are your conference breakdowns right now. The ACC have 3 lock, 4 total, 2 bubble. Duke would be a 1 seed, number 2 overall. Clemson, a 5 seed, number 19 overall. Louisville, a 7 seed, number 25 overall. Those are your 3 locks. Your 4 total most likely would be either Wake Forest, last team in, number 48 overall. North Carolina would be the first team out, unfortunately, at number 69 overall. So it would be the first seed for none other than the fun thing of the not-in tournament, aka the National Invitational Tournament. That is, you just be the literally 69th best team. So that's very exciting in general. Continue once again. First 4 out, number 71 overall, SMU. That is in the ACC. Now, the Big 12 has 5 locks at the moment. 1 likely, 8 total, 1 bubble. Houston would be a number 4 overall, is in a 1 seed. Iowa State with a 3 seed, number 9 overall. Texas Tech, 3 seed, number 12 overall. Arizona looking at a 4 seed, number 14 overall. Kansas looking at a 6 seed, number 22 overall, and BYU could potentially be a likely bid at the moment. Number 30 overall with an 8 seed. So that is what we expect right now. That is exactly what we expect from the Big 12. Now for the SEC, again, this is all by Joe Lunardi. If I haven't said this enough, that is his work and what I'm kind of it'll be interesting for sure. anyways, the SEC now has a lot of locks right now. 9 locks, 13 total, most likely. But things can change very quickly with one bubble. Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Or check that. No, yes, Mississippi State. Auburn play tonight. They're looking like the number 1 overall. Alabama looking like the number 3 overall with the 1 seed again. Like we mentioned before, those are what they're looking at. Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas. But yeah, anyways, this is what we expect to see out of this tournament this year. No one is guaranteed right now. The SEC dominating. That is the most exciting part, the most exciting portion of everything that we're looking at. Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas could potentially see them go through in the last 4 in number 43 overall. Arkansas last 4 in number 44 overall right there. Arkansas and Texas. It's going to be interesting as they play against each other. That's why. First 4 out at number 71 overall is Georgia. Those are really what they're expecting for the big conferences, the big 3 conference breakdowns that we have at the moment. So very exciting once more. A lot really to talk about from that side on. Is always exciting. Well, it's, of course, the weekend. Another race weekend is upon us really quickly. We'll get you quick with a little bit rundown for racing as we're just about to hit the hour mark. Biggest thing right now has been, well, IndyCar this Sunday will be taking place at St. Petersburg, Florida, which they'll have a doubleheader of the IndyCar NXT, but just one race on Sunday of the IndyCar Firestone or the NDT IndyCar Series. That will be very exciting once again. Now, as well as that, NASCAR back in action this weekend. They have a little special guest with them. That is called the VP Racing Fuels Sports Car Challenge, and that'll be cool. The Sports Car Challenge, we'll be looking at really nothing. They will have 2 short races, and it's looking like they're just a sport race and nothing more than that under the NASCAR sanctioning body for that weekend. It's going to be very exciting, different racetrack layout, so a lot of questions for all of it will be answered this weekend, and that will be very exciting. Now, moving on once again, that will really be it for the racing this weekend. F1 have started their testing this weekend, or this week as well. That is key in the fact of, well, F1's about to start in this next month, so that'll be something to look forward to. Still ways out of the GT World Challenge America's Series. It's still about close to 30 days or so out until that green flag drops in Sonoma. We're still waiting on a couple more entries for that series as well, so take a look, or so just take an interest in that as well. IMSA won't be racing for a while until, again, spring break. That will be the famous 12 hours of Sebring. So very exciting there, and why I bring that up as well is Will Cadillac are a big partner in IMSA, and they have, of course, their prototype team from Wayne Taylor Racing all the way to the Wellen the Wellen Cadillac team as well. That one's always fun. Joda, I believe, will be with Cadillac and IMSA as well, so take a look for them, and just all of them, they have a lot of that fun stuff. Anyways, will be very exciting here. So that'll do it for us here from none other than Luke Fruia Motors. I've been Jacob Young. This has been a Real Sports Live presentation. I want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in, and hearing me get to talk about, well, a lot of soccer talk today. A couple of other things, like we mentioned, a lot going on for Real Sports Live, especially coming up. Not really breaking news or anything, but we will be back for the Pony World Series, we've been told. So that will be major. That will be in late July. Check for more of that coming up in the RGV, because that's going to be very fun. 40 nations are expected to, around that much. 40 teams, I believe, actually, are expected to show up for that. Multiple nations again, most likely the Caribbean, all the way to the Philippines, which is wild to think about, that the Philippines love to come down here. But once again, that'll do it for me here from Luke Fruia Motors. And until next time, we will see you all very soon. Take care.